Welcome to the video on hearing thirds and sixths. This is our second interval ear training video. So you've done the perfect intervals already, and we're going to work on major and minor thirds today and major and minor sixths. The reason that I've grouped these together is because they're all consonant intervals, and so sometimes even though they're thirds and sixths are very different because sixths are so big and thirds are so small, but sometimes they sound similar because they're consonant. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to hear the difference between them. And as always, you're just going to need to practice with the homework to be able to really hear it well. But singing is a good precursor to hearing. So I'm going to sing for you, and you can sing along, and we can work on this together. Okay, so the first thing is let's do thirds first. I always like to equate solfege with intervals because intervals happen naturally within scales, and so I like to think about how the interval fits into a scale. It gives me a point of reference because I can hear scales, and so can you. So if I can hear scales, then I can think about solfege, and that helps me associate the intervals that I hear with the scales I already know. It's always good to associate something you don't know with something you do know because you already know it, and then it's a little bit easier than just like something totally brand new. So for thirds, I think about starting on do and going up to scale degree 3. So for a major scale, it'd be do, re, mi, do, mi. That's in a major scale. That's a major third. So if you hear da da, you can sing it back, something like that, and then walk up by step and sing the scale until you hit the top note. Do, re, mi. Okay, so I hit mi, so I know that that is a major third. A minor third is very similar. It's a very similar size because it's a third. It's a little bit smaller, as we know, but it's hard to just like hear that it's smaller when you're not comparing that to anything else. So the way I think about a minor third is that it's actually scale degree 1 to 3 in a minor scale. So instead of singing do, re, mi, I sing do, re, me, like I'm starting up a minor scale. Do, re, me, do, me. So do to me is a minor third, and do to mi is a major third. So do, mi, do, re, mi, do, mi, major third, or do, me, do, re, mi, do, mi is a minor third. So hearing the difference between them is hearing the difference between something that's working in the major scale and something that's working in the minor scale. So you could think about it not just as two random notes, but think about them as fitting into those scales, which you already can hear, and that will help you be able to hear the intervals. Sixths are similar, actually. Major sixths can fit in a certain way in a major scale, and minor sixths can fit in a certain way in a minor scale. There are actually a few ways that they fit, but this is the one that I like to think of. Because sol and do are so important in our scales, I like to think about sixth as starting on a sol. So I started too low for myself. Let's think about another do. Do, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, do. Okay, now I'm in my key. So if I start on sol below do and I leap up to mi, that's in a major scale because I have mi, that's a major sixth. Sol, mi, major sixth. And I sometimes, in my own head, I think about where do is, even though I'm not actually singing do. And that helps me remember that I'm in a major scale. So, like this. Sol, mi, do. Sol, mi, do. This actually sounds really nice. So, sol, mi, major sixth. Like that. Now, you might be ahead of me and already know where I'm going with this, but if you sing sol to me as if you're in a minor scale, then that is a minor sixth. So, sol, me, do, sol, me, minor sixth. That one's also pretty, but has a little bit of a different quality to it. So, sol, mi, do, sol, mi, major sixth, or sol, mi, do, sol, mi, minor sixth. Okay, so I recommend that when you're listening to the sixth, that you fill in do on your own. So like it'll play da da, and what I want you to do is sing it back. Sol, me, do, like that, to give you a sense of the context of it. It can be helpful. So that's how you hear the difference in those. So you can hear the difference in a major third and a minor third by thinking do to me or do to me. You can hear the difference in a major sixth or a minor sixth by singing sol to me or sol to me. And that's how that works. If you're in piano class, you may have been working on triads already. And we don't do triads in this class at all. So if you're not in piano class, don't know what triads are, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But if you are, something else you can connect it to is thinking about major and minor triads. And when you sing, when you have the major and minor thirds or the major and minor sixths, those are parts of triads. So you can think about it in that way too. It might sound familiar to you because of what you've been doing with piano. Or if you play the guitar, you're probably familiar with major and minor chords, so it kind of fits into that as well. But it's important to remember the exact solfege that you're doing and to be able to tell the difference between me and may. If you're still struggling with that, I recommend that you sing some scales, sing minor scales and major scales, and also go back to some of the scale listening exercises and work on those. You can customize your own as well. You can go to musictheory.net, which is where I assign the homework from. And you can go there and you can click on exercises and then click on the exercise customizer. That's where I make your homework assignments. You can make your own too. So if you just want to hear the difference between like a major scale and like a harmonic minor scale or something, you can just choose those options and it'll just give you those. Helps you narrow it down a little bit. So you can do that for things that you're especially struggling on. Any of the topics really are covered, so you can do that. I'm not sure that rhythm, I don't remember if rhythm and meter might not be covered, but the stuff we're doing right now is, so something you can think about. All right, so, yes, last thing. If you're trying to hear the difference between just a third and a sixth, like that's the first thing you need to do is narrow it down. Is it some kind of third or some kind of sixth? And then you can go ahead and figure out the quality. So, like I said, thirds are much smaller than sixths. So sometimes you can just hear that there's like more space in an interval. And if that's true, then you can just say, is this a big interval or a small interval? And if it's big, it's a sixth, and if it's small, it's a third. That's pretty simple. And another thing you can do is if you're not sure, you can walk up by step from one note to the other. Start on the bottom note and walk up by step, like up a scale to the top note until you get there. And you can just count. So if I have da 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 3, that's a third. Then I can figure out what type of third it is. Do, re, mi sounds like a major scale, so that's a major third. If I had a sixth, the same thing. I could count up and I would get 6 steps until I reached the top note. So that's kind of how you can narrow it down and then figure out the quality. All right, so this is that. You're just going to have to practice some with the homework, and as usual, you can do more than you need to. If you feel like you're still a little bit weak on this, go ahead and try that out and see what you can do. All right, have a good one.